All right, let's talk about the storytelling genius of Sidhu Moosewalla's track, Baroda. Seriously, this thing is so much more than just a song. It's basically a modern fable, all about the epic collision between love and pride, and it's told through some absolutely incredible lyrics. We're going to deconstruct it piece by piece and see how he builds an entire world and a full character arc in just a few minutes. Let's get into it.
Right from the jump, the song hits you with this killer opening line. In just a handful of words, a whole character just appears, fully formed. He's the son of the village head, so right away, we get it. He's got status, he's got power, and he's like a hawk, predatory, sharp, just soaring high above everybody else. We are immediately face to face with a guy who seems completely and utterly untouchable.
So here's our roadmap for this breakdown. First, we're going to meet the invincible Jat in all his glory. Then, a storm of beauty rolls in and just shakes everything up. We'll see what happens when pride meets love in a head-on collision, which you can guess leads to the great surrender. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by looking at the power of words that makes this song a legit masterpiece.
Okay, let's start by painting a really clear picture of our protagonist before his entire world gets flipped upside down. I mean, to really feel the full impact of his transformation, you first have to understand the sheer scale of his pride and his power.
Now, check out this metaphor. Moosewalla doesn't just say he's strong as an ox or something cliché like that. No, he says his body is like a Swaraj tractor. It's such a specific, almost mechanical, and incredibly powerful image. But what is that really telling us about this guy?
Well, for anyone who might not know, the Swaraj tractor, it's an absolute icon in Punjab. It is way, way more than just a piece of farm equipment. It symbolizes land, raw power, agricultural strength, this kind of rugged, modern self-reliance. By choosing a tractor, a machine, he's grounding this guy's power in something industrial and man-made. He's not just a dude, he's an institution, a force of modern Punjabi masculinity.
And the song just keeps piling it on, building up these symbols of power. We already know he's the son of the Sarpanch. Then the lyrics add that his youthful energy is explosive, like petrol. He's surrounded by weapons, making him physically intimidating. And to top it all off, his character, his ego, is as high as a mansion. Completely untouchable, literally looking down on the rest of the world.
So here we have this seemingly invincible man, right? He's completely encased in these layers of pride and man-made power. But every great story needs a catalyst, doesn't it? A force that's powerful enough to challenge the unchallengeable. And that is exactly what arrives next.
Just listen to how she's introduced. She isn't just a beautiful woman. Her beauty is an Asari, a storm. It's an unstoppable force of nature, an east wind that just sweeps in and changes everything. This is a direct counter to his mechanical, controlled strength. He's a machine. She's something elemental and wild. This isn't your typical love story setup. This is a forecast for a Category 5 hurricane.
And that right there brings us to the very heart of this story, the central conflict. This is the moment where the immovable object of his pride meets the unstoppable force of her love.
It's all laid out perfectly right here. On one side, you've got his pride, symbolized by the unmovable mansion, the cold steel of weapons, the dominance of a hawk. Then, on the other side, her power is a storm, and her weapons? Not guns, but sweet words and these delicate threads of love. So, which one is going to prove stronger, the hawk or the storm, the mansion or the wind?
This next part, it's all about the aftermath of that collision. It's the story of our protagonist's complete humbling, his journey from this prideful hawk to, well, a humbled man. This is the story of his great surrender.
And here it is, this central metaphor of the entire song, a barota, a banyan tree. It symbolizes ancient strength, stability, deep, unmovable roots. It's a landmark. But the lyric says he was pupta. He was uprooted. He wasn't just shaken or bent. No, he was ripped out from his very foundations by the storm of her love.
The song actually breaks this surrender down into 4 crystal-clear stages. First, he's uprooted by her beauty. Bam! Then, he's disarmed. The song says he literally forgets how to handle his own weapons. Next, he's bridled, tamed not by force, but by those soft threads of love that reign in his wild nature. And it all leads to that final stage, being completely humbled.
This final line of his transformation is just so incredibly powerful. The man who came from a haveli, a mansion, this huge symbol of his status and pride, is now sitting happily in a kuli, a simple hut. His entire world, his social standing, has been completely redefined, stripped all the way down to its most essential human form.
So the story itself is powerful. We get that. But what really elevates Baroda into a masterpiece is how Sidhu Moosewala tells it. So for this last part, let's zoom out a bit and just appreciate the sheer artistry, the lyrical techniques he's using here.
This is basically the Sidhu Moosewala toolkit in action. He uses these culturally rich metaphors, the Swaraj tractor, the Haveli, the Baroda tree, that just resonate so deeply with his audience. He uses vivid personification, turning beauty into a literal storm. But most importantly, he doesn't just write clever lines. He builds a complete narrative arc with these powerful characters and this profound transformation, all within a few verses. He crafts an entire fable.
So I want to leave you with this question. In a music genre that is so often dominated by themes of hyper-masculine pride, Baroda tells a story of surrender. It suggests that maybe true strength isn't found in a mansion or in weaponry, but in the humility to let yourself be completely uprooted by love. So what does this story, this modern fable of love-taming pride, have to say about masculinity today? It's definitely something to think about.